Welcome to YouTube Time with Madison Christine. And the wind is out and my hot tea. Cheers to you guys. As always, I come here through inspiration, and I was just so excited to finally do this from outside. And it's been this kind of hilarious, like I've said before, process of being able to have you be able to see my eyes and soul talking while we have nature doing its thing. And I'm in my backyard and did some arranging and found a spot. Not the spot I wanted with the flowers and the arch and the sky, but hopefully you can feel the energy. So all that being said, um, today the topic coming through is about relationship with self and other. I'm holding my tea to keep warm. Relationship with self and other. I said that a couple times just to let that absorb. What does that mean to you? And I'm going to share things, of course, that have been lessons along the way for me that have been embodied. There goes the wind picking up. Because I really feel that anything that enters these things is just all exactly what it's meant to be. It's always messages. So you'll find me stopping to respect that. So what does it mean to you? There's a beautiful bird. Oh no, I'm going to get distracted. This is going to be fun. To cultivate a relationship with yourself, and how does that play out in your relationships with others. This is a deep concept, right? I remember years ago when I set out on my journey of this evolution, love, and seeking what all this really was and how it plays out in humanity and how I could deepen that. I was in Spokane, Washington, and I was walking around this park. Gosh, there's all these birds, you guys. It's so cool. I was walking around this park, and this strong wisdom and saying just kept coming through, and it was, you can only go as deep with another as you've gone with yourself. You can only go as deep with another as you've gone with yourself. And that was super profound and truth that just resonated in every cell in my being. So I knew that in setting out to deepen in my own world, in my own self, meant that was going to be what I could bring to the world and how deep I could go with another. So there was no space there to blame anyone else, let's not blame ourselves or others in that way. What I meant is it really put me at my knees about what it means to take responsibility, like in the last YouTube, for what we want. And this is such a process, you guys, and if as humans, if I could send the deepest message, is as far as self-love is letting go of judgments on ourselves and others. And of course, we judge others to the extent we judge ourselves, right? So that letting go of judgment, because it's all this process, right, is how we can step deeper into love and move forward. And it's all about accepting where we are, what's going on, and all of that. So in this whole wisdom of self and other, it's so much about the care and the love that I give to myself, that you give to yourself, plays out in every relationship we have, right? To ourselves, to earth, to nature, to the stranger, to the lover. I mean, this all plays out. So how do we deepen a relationship with ourselves? I think that's a really important question to unpack. And I can tell you this, as I hold my hand on this warm tea, in my experience and in watching others that I deeply respect, it's about deepening our relationship to our feelings. Deepening our relationship to our feelings and finding acceptance for every feeling opens our hearts and cultivates a maturity and a depth and a willingness to be able to hold that with others, especially our intimate partnerships. And I know, you guys, the ugliest and the prettiest comes out in those very intimate romantic partnerships. So any one of you that is listening to this, we could all laugh and weep together, I'm sure, because the gook comes out, okay? And the gook is such an opportunity and fertile grounds for us to deepen ourselves, to heal that which was not healed, let's say from childhood, to look at the places where we've been so and felt so abandoned and betrayed, right? That stuff is going to come up in an intimate relationship, and then you involve sex, you involve affection. All those things are going to bring stuff up. It's just inevitable. I've seen it in my life over and over again. I've seen it in every other person I've ever worked with. So we got to find a way, right, to have humor. Now, I'm not saying if you're feeling like shit right now to all of a sudden have humor about it. Feel what you feel. You guys, feelings are water. The divine feminine is bleeding to come through, okay, and help us and assist us. She is amazing at assisting us with feelings, because not one feeling threatens her in any of us. It's like a current, it's a river. When we stagnate with feelings, that's when things can get dangerous and things can get painful. And again, see, look, I have a fly in my beak. And again, when I say pain, all these things are fertilizers, by the way, you guys, and we just allow them. And instead of, here's what easier way to look at it. So let's say you're in a relationship, you're triggered, and it's triggering some deep, deep pain. Whatever, it's rage, it's pain, it's hurt, whatever it is. When we allow ourselves to feel that, and we remember, I am not my feelings. Feelings are running through me like a river. You are not your feelings, but let them come through you. Often we'll get stuck in this perpetual pattern of thinking we are that pain or we are that betrayal. That's an energy moving through you guys, and we mature. It's a maturing process to allow every feeling its place. And of course, there is a place where some people will get addicted to their pain, will get addicted to victimhood, will get addicted to suffering. That's another conversation. But this conversation here can help release that if one is willing and wants to open to all different feelings, from the pain to the highest of joy and bliss and ecstasy, right? When we enter that quantum field, we enter that by how? By honoring every feeling. There's a play field, right, where there's a playfulness, there's a stillness, there's affection, there's sensuality, all these different fields we can enter that I call all aspects of God and Goddess. So back to the topic, relationship with self and other. So I talked about getting in touch with our feelings, allowing oneself, like yesterday, I just had this sadness running through. I knew I wasn't the sadness, but I just let it run through. In fact, I didn't know how much was mine, the collective, because we're in just deep, there's a lot of deep, deep pain that needs to be felt, right? And when we're healing our own pain, you guys, it heals the planet. It clears it. Thank you to Matt Kahn, a spiritual teacher that speaks directly to all of that. He goes in depth on that. Thank you to all of you who are bringing this into your life, into your relationships, into your work, and really finding tenderness with these different aspects and feelings. So, like I said yesterday, I just knew. I was like, you know what? My body's telling me I need to unplug and rest and allow this its place through. And then I wake up feeling so totally renewed. So it's kind of like a rainy day that's a rainy day, right? And then all of a sudden next day the sun is shining bright. It's just nature, you guys. We are nature. We are the different seasons. So if you're in the season of feeling deep depression, or you're in the season of feeling the high element of joy, these are all aspects that are growing and maturing us. So let's just love every single ounce. Like with a child that cries 1 minute, has a tantrum, the next minute is like freaking in Disneyland, right? I love that about kids. They're so awesome that way. They teach me, kids in nature, I think that's where I probably get the highest level of teachings, just by watching. So I'm going to leave it at that because there's a lot of juice in that. So connecting to the feeling and remembering that our relationship to ourself is what plays out in a relationship with others. And if there's others, this is not saying this though. So I guess I'm not done, right? The feminine still has more to say coming through. So if you're in a relationship though, let's say that is triggering old abuses, I'm not here saying, well, that relationship you should stay in if they're abusing you. Hell no, get out. If you're with someone to work it through on a different level, a conscious level, and there's a safety built, different scenario. I have a YouTube on relationships and trauma that really speaks to that. But let's look at what is showing up out here as a reflection of different aspects that we can either cultivate more or say goodbye to. Love is a receiving in, right? It takes a lot to receive love if one has a lot of hurt in the past. And look at our planet. Once you do, you'll never go back. So allow others to meet you there in that place of love. And if they're not, maybe they're just not ready to be in that kind of intimacy with you. And continue to move on where those meet you there, right? It wastes our energy. It's an energy vampiric thing if we keep in places where that is not being an equal connectivity. Trust me, I know the pain of that in my own way. Still working some of those places out. So I stand here humbly with you, sharing these things. So that is where I'm going to close with. The birds, the wind, the trees, the sky, we're all saying we love you. And I know I sound like a nature hippie, but I so am. Love you guys so much. Thank you for being with me. As always, cheers, and I'll meet you on the flip.